Hi, welcome back to Rebel Health. I'm Dr. Vora, holistic psychiatrist practicing in New York City. You may or may not hear a baby crying in the background. That's real life here. And so we'll just go with it. So what I want to talk about today is the concept of overtired, because what I've learned in my own life and in treating patients is that so much of insomnia, or what we think of as insomnia, is actually that a lot of us are running around overtired. So let's talk about this concept. Overtired. If you had told me this term 3 years ago, I would have been like, that's not a thing. Then I had a baby, and then I had to figure out the hard way that babies get overtired. And if anybody else out there has a kid, you know what I'm talking about, which is that a kid can be tired, and they're going to show you that they're tired with certain tired signs. They're going to like rub their eyes, they're going to have a little yawn, or like sometimes they arch their back, and that's when you know that they're tired. So in that moment, that's your sweet spot, and you want to change their diaper, wrap them in their swaddle or their sleep sack, put them in the crib, and then walk away and pray that they sleep. But if you miss that window, then what happens 5, 10, 15 minutes later is that they actually start to become what's called overtired. So then they are melting down, they're irritable, they're crying, they're not going to fall asleep, and then the whole household suffers. Baby is melting down, can't sleep, needs to sleep, household is exhausted, can't get a baby to nap, you're always on, you don't have a break. So you learn the hard way very quickly, don't let the baby get overtired. So it took me a few months of having a kid and learning how to avoid overtired before I was like scratching my head one day and I was like, wait a second, could this have an implication with my patients? And then, it was like, it really dawned on me that so many of my patients are talking about the idea that they get into bed and they're tossing and turning, their mind is racing, they're tired but wired, they can't fall asleep. I started to think like, are they just overtired? And then I started to realize I myself will be really tired around like maybe 9 or 10, and then if I push past that because I'm working or doing something on the internet or responding to email or watching binging on some show on Netflix, then what happens is around 11:30 midnight I'm not tired at all anymore. Suddenly I'm kind of warm and like ready to go clean the kitchen or like do a project. So that's overtired in the adult form, and I think it's ubiquitous. So what I started recommending to patients is that you want to notice your tired signs. They're obvious in a baby, it's like the eye rub and the yawn, but start to look for them in yourself and look for them around 3 hours after sunset. So it's going to vary by where you live and what time of year it is, but just start to look for them around then, and notice when you're actually feeling sleepy, like you could almost just crawl into bed and fall asleep. And then try doing that rather than pushing past that. A lot of folks don't notice the tired signs because it seems egregiously early, and it's like, that's not a time that I would go to sleep. But just do an experiment for a week where it's like Little House on the Prairie and you're going to sleep at a wholesome, super early hour. And just see if it doesn't help you fall asleep more easily, avoid tossing and turning. Maybe you're sleeping through the night, whereas otherwise you would have woken up throughout the night. Maybe you feel more rested in the morning. So appreciate that overtired is a thing. Try going to bed earlier when you notice your first sleep tired signs. Don't push past it. And I hope that this helps. We'll see you next time on Rebel Health.